going on, guys? My name is Trevor and welcome back to another Talk About It Thursday. And today's video was actually suggested by 3 people. It was suggested by one of my longtime subscribers, Ian Bigwood, where he said rank the 10 best superhero movies of all freaking time. And also it was suggested by Certain Vids and Movie Mash. Both of them have movie related channels, so if you guys haven't checked them out yet, make sure to go and check them out because they got a lot of awesome content going on. And this was a rather hard list to make, but before I give you guys my 10, make sure to go ahead and join me down in the comment section. What are the 10 best superhero movies of all time? There's no right list, it's all opinionated. And with all that said, let's begin. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Deadpool, and this is actually the movie that's kind of the first of its time. It's the first one to break that third wall down and not really go by the film rules. And Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, is the most brilliant casting ever. And this movie is just so engaging. It's so like Ryan Reynolds is talking to the audience the entire time. The first movie we've ever really seen do this, not just a superhero movie, but a movie in general. Ryan Reynolds absolutely is playing himself, doing it all mostly improv, and this is a great superhero movie with some awesome special effects and a really funny script and an all-around unique and surprising film. At number 9 is going to be Iron Man, and this is where the MCU all began, with a very washed-up actor and Robert Downey Jr., and boy was everyone wrong who had doubts against him, saying this guy's not going to do anything good, because what Robert Downey Jr. did for the MCU is unparalleled what any other actor will do for an industry. He took this role and he embodied it and he embraced it. You don't think the name RDJ without thinking of Tony Stark. This movie had everything. It was the first real superhero movie that really brought the superhero movie genre to life today. It is just so unique, so different, and it's not much of an action-packed movie, but going through the story of who Tony Stark is, one of the best origin stories we've ever seen. Iron Man is played so uniquely, so brilliantly. This movie has the action, the movie has the emotional tie, but this movie has the humor, and it has the Robert Downey Jr. flair that really makes the entire movie, but also the entire MCU. At number 8 is going to be Captain America Civil War, and yes, another MCU movie, but this is the one that really divided people. Fans and audience members were just fighting against each other, saying, I'm Team Cap, I'm Team Iron Man, I'm Team Cap. What are you guys? Comment that down below. It is just such a divisive movie that is so deep, so emotional, so action-packed, and we get introduced to brilliant characters such as Spider-Man, aka Tom Holland, such as T'Challa, Black Panther. You get introduced to these new characters, and you get basically every Marvel character we have introduced at that point to fight each other at the airport. And the airport scene is one of the most brilliantly done action scenes. It has the humor, but also has the emotional tie. Thinking of who team's gonna win, who do I root for, what's going on? It's a whirlwind of emotions that this movie carries out, and how the movie ends really sets up the later future movies to come, which really flows in beautifully, and it is an all-around masterpiece. At number 7 is going to be The Avengers, the first big team-up movie that no one knew was going to go, and they took this movie and they ran with it and they nailed it on the head. It is absolutely one of the best MCU movies, but also one of the best superhero movies in general. The first big team-up. No one knew how it was gonna work. I kind of just threw all these characters together and said, hey, hopefully they have some great chemistry. We're gonna have some awesome fight scenes, and you get to see their banter and their development, their character arcs individually throughout the movie. And by the time you get to the end, they have one of the best fight scenes in the entire MCU at the New York fight scene. Absolutely brilliant, but all these characters together really vibe, and if they didn't have good chemistry, this movie would easily fall apart. At number 6 is The Incredibles, and this is the first movie where it really showed what a superhero family is like ordinarily. It shows how they go from being superheroes, taking all the fame and all the glory, to getting put on the back burner, having to act like regular people when they aren't regular people. And that's what makes this movie so beautiful and so what it is, because this shows how all these families act like regular families. It's really relatable. Everyone comes home, people start bickering, everyone's tired, no one really wants to talk to each other at the late night dinners. But then also, everyone's also very sad because they don't get to show their powers, don't get to show what makes them them. They have to act as normal people when they are so above and beyond the average person. And that's what really makes this movie so beautiful and so unique, is that it plays as they're regular people when they most certainly are not, and they are incredible. Breaking into our top 5 is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and this is actually my favorite Spider-Man film. It is just so unique, and takes the classic tale of Spider-Man that we've seen a countless numbers of times and makes it unique, makes it its own, and finally brings in Miles Morales, who is a lot different than we're more expecting. The storyline itself is a lot different, but the animated style in this movie is completely different than what we're used to. It's kind of more of a comic book. You are watching a live play-by-play comic book, and that's what makes this movie great. The soundtrack and score is fantastic. The twists and turns they have throughout the entire movie is brilliant, and you get introduced to characters we haven't seen before. We get introduced to Kingpin and other characters like that, and you get to see Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man actually being a couple, not like Amazing Spider-Man, which really abominated it. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of the most unique, one of the most creative, and the absolute best Spider-Man movie. At number 4 is going to be Logan, and this is the first really dark, deep, different kind of superhero story. More feels like a Western when you're watching it, and Hugh Jackman is by far the best part of this movie. It really shows that the character Logan has been through the ringer. He's seen it all, and he's back on his back burner. Mutants aren't really around anymore. It really shows how defeated he is, and it really is just a brilliant movie because he's so jaded, he's so different, and this movie's actually rated R, and it's one of the only rated R superhero movies besides Deadpool, and this one really nails it on head. The rated R is fitting. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart's chemistry in this is 100% accurate, it's 100% believable, and this movie's really relatable. You're getting old, you're getting washed up, feel like you're forgot about, and a lot of people can relate to that, but the action in this movie is great, but the storyline and plot itself is even better. You have a mission, you have a drive, you have a focus, and this really saved the X-Men universe, because this movie isn't only one of the best superhero movies of all time, it is actually one of the best movies of all time. At number 3 is going to be Avengers Infinity War, and it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's the first time we saw a villain win, but the entire MCU was leading up to this point. We kept getting hints and teases at who Thanos was, and the Russo brothers finally brought him to life and showed us what this guy is about. And Infinity War really had everything you could want. It had the humor, it had the action, it had the drama, it had the emotions, and it really had a kick-butt ending. It is so brilliant, so beautiful, and Thanos is by far the best villain in the entire MCU, possibly of all time. He makes it so believable what he's doing is right that you want to start rooting for him. You never in a movie have you ever really rooted for the villain, seeing where he's coming from, and he's so evil and so badass, and it's so just powerful that you believe what he's doing is right when it clearly is not, because decimating half a population everywhere is probably not a good thing to do. But Infinity War is so believable, so relatable, and such a fantastic film, and it's just so crazy to see how you can root for the villain. Our runner-up is going to be The Dark Knight, and this has the best villain of all time in the Joker, played by Heath Ledger, that no one really saw this one coming. It's kind of like an RDJ thing. No one really saw Robert Downey Jr. really doing this role any justice. No one really saw this guy. He was a knight in A Knight's Tale, and he was also the guy who was a stoner and he sang on bleachers to a girl on a soccer field. He was a guy like, what's this guy gonna bring? And when you saw the first trailer, you knew The Dark Knight was going to be for real. You knew Heath Ledger was going to give possibly the best performance of all time, and I truly believe this is the best performance a male actor has ever given, ever. Dark Knight is just so great. It is just so deep, so emotional. It's not even really a superhero movie. It's more of a crime thriller drama. It has the superhero effect added in there as a little flavor. It is so brilliant. Christopher Nolan created one of the best movies of all time, created this masterpiece, but Heath Ledger as the Joker is what really brings this movie to life. He carries the movie and the weight on his shoulders, and he is so great. His laugh is everything. His character arc is absolutely amazing, and the entire story is really revolved around him, and without him, it would not be on his list, and without him, it would not be what it is today. Coming in at number 1 is going to be Avengers Endgame, and this is the movie that describes the word epic. If you look up the word epic in a dictionary, you see a great big picture of Avengers Endgame. This movie had everything. It starts out with an emotional tie. It starts out with some great action, some amazing acting, and an all-around best conclusion to any movie ever. And I truly stand by that. This is one of the best movies ever made, period. The ending, the last fight action hour scene is the best fight hour action scene of all time. It is absolutely everything you could want. The epicness in this is so crazy. The cheers, the oohs, the ahs, the emotions that run through your body are in this, and the chills that you get up and down when you hear the line said, when you get to see all these characters back on screen, when you get to see the big fight, and when you get to see how this movie ends. It absolutely puts your heart right together, but then rips it right out of your chest again. And just because of all the emotion this movie gives you, it earns the number 1 spot. How does your guys' list compare? My list of 100% is not the right list. It is 100% my opinion, and these are my 10 favorite superhero movies of all time. So whatever you guys got, make sure to comment that down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow Movie Mash and certain vids. Do me a favor and go see a movie, but also hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!